oil depot is burning in Russia, while craters from aerial bombs dropped by Russian planes gape in the streets of once peaceful cities. Meanwhile, the head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Lavrov, continues to insist that all the goals of the so-called special military operation will be achieved. But the war unleashed by the Kremlin is increasingly coming back like a boomerang, with explosions, power outages, and poverty. On the evening of January 21st, a huge crater from a fallen munition appeared on one of the main streets of Belgorod. The aerial bomb buried itself in the ground without detonating, but half the city still had to be cordoned off, and nearly 2,000 residents were temporarily evacuated from their homes. When asked who the munition belonged to, local authorities gave no answer, but in photos from the scene, a part of the UMPK, a Unified Planning and Correction Module, is clearly visible. This Russian aerodynamic kit is attached to free-falling aerial bombs. Russian aviation uses these types of munitions to shell the Kharkiv region. So, in effect, a Russian military plane dropped a bomb on its own territory. According to calculations by Astra, in 2025 alone, Russia recorded 143 incidents involving munitions that went off course. Of course, federal channels don't report on such incidents, nor do they mention that since January 8th, the Belgorod region has been experiencing a real energy crisis. Even the local governor, Gladkov, calls it catastrophic. However, he usually blames Ukraine and local residents for what happened, claiming they're the ones spreading panic.
The governor of Russia's Belgorod region, which borders Ukraine, reported that 600,000 residents were left without electricity, heating, and water. In a statement published on Telegram, Vyacheslav Gladkov said that work is underway to restore supplies, but the situation is extremely difficult. In footage shot by Reuters in Belgorod, you can see that the streetlights are out, and local residents are finding their way using flashlights and car headlights, from a Reuters report.
And this is a photo of a multi-story residential building in the village of Novaya Adygea in Russia's southern federal district. It was damaged as a result of being hit by a Russian air defense missile that went off course. As a result of the strike, 25 apartments were damaged and several people were injured. Russian propaganda immediately started talking about an alleged attack by a Ukrainian drone or even a missile. And it really was a missile. But footage from the scene clearly shows that it came from the south, not from the northwest where Ukraine is located. In addition, military experts noticed several other signs indicating that it was specifically a Russian S-300.
Ruslan Lieviev, the founder of the Conflict Intelligence Team, stated that in the videos filmed by residents, you can trace the entire process, from the moment the missile was launched to when it hit the building, from multiple different angles. In addition, every single one of the available video recordings clearly demonstrates a highly prominent and unmistakable trail of thick white smoke trailing from the flight, which is a phenomenon that exclusively occurs only when the engine is actively running on composite solid rocket fuel. According to Leviev, such units are specifically installed on anti-aircraft missiles of Russian air defense systems, while all Ukrainian strike weapons, including drones and Flamingo cruise missiles, use gasoline or kerosene, so their engines do not leave a smoke trail. From a publication by the Moscow Times.
Destruction. Death. This is what Putin's war has brought not only to Ukraine, but to Russia itself. The total combat losses of the Russian army have already exceeded 1,232,000 people. According to the Institute for the Study of War, in 2025, the Russian Federation formed only 4 new divisions, although it had planned to create 17. At the same time, the Russians abandoned the formation of motorized rifle divisions in favor of infantry and assault divisions. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized that over the past year, the losses of the aggressor country have more than doubled, and the pace of mobilization no longer covers the total losses.
We know that they are mobilizing 43,000 a month, and they are starting to lose 35,000. Out of those 43,000, you should know about 10 to 15% run away, and some are wounded. But you have to understand that their army has stopped growing thanks to our drone operators and drone technologies. This is important for us.
Strikes on oil refineries, explosions at military depots, military planes burning right on the airfields. In 4 years of war against Ukraine, Putin has made this a reality for his own citizens. This week, there was a major fire at an oil depot in Penza. This is one of the key fuel suppliers for the Russian army. Overall, the devastating strikes on Russia's oil refining industry have driven the country's oil supplies down to their lowest level in the past 15 years. Russia has banned gasoline exports until March 1st, 2026, and to even begin to fix the situation, the aggressor will need not months, but years.
If earlier sporadic strikes were aimed at causing immediate damage, now constant attacks are being carried out to prevent the restoration of refineries disrupted by previous strikes, which slows down repair efforts every time. Now, drones are increasingly attacking not only the refineries themselves, but also related infrastructure, such as the plant's purification systems. Frequent fires at refineries lead to long-term cumulative damage. From a report by the analytics company Kepler.
At the beginning of 2026, the budget crisis in the Russian Federation entered an open phase and manifested itself in widespread delays in salary payments to public sector employees. The Russian economy is rapidly slowing down. There are no new sources of income, inflation is accelerating, and entire sectors of industry and agriculture are suffering record losses. This is also a natural consequence of the war started by Russia. The new taxes that the Kremlin needs to continue its aggression are killing businesses. Companies are going underground, cutting staff, or even declaring bankruptcy altogether. The banking system is facing a withdrawal of deposits, a rise in defaults, and a liquidity shortage. The budget is sinking deeper into debt dependence, using loans not for development, but to plug more and more holes.
The financial collapse in Russia has systemic roots. The drop in prices for coal, oil, and metals has sharply reduced regional revenues. Export-oriented industries, metallurgy, the coal industry, oil refining, and chemicals have lost profitability due to weakened external demand. Additional pressure was created by a decrease in revenues from small and medium-sized businesses, increased spending on wage indexation and social benefits, as well as the effective closure of the debt market amid high interest rates, according to a publication on the website of the Foreign Intelligence Service of Ukraine.
On the eve of the new year, several independent sociological companies conducted a public opinion poll in Russia. The majority of Russians, namely 65% of respondents, said that 2025 was a difficult year for them. They experienced constant anxiety and stress, and yet the worst is still ahead. Well, it seems the Kremlin dictator is doing his best to justify all these fears. The war that the Kremlin wanted to wage on foreign soil and promised to end in 3 days has been destroying Russia itself for almost 4 years now.